Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome everyone to the 6th International Conference on Sustainability Education, ICSE 2024. And we are very glad to have all of you here for this panel discussion on integrating STEM, NEP 2020 and STI policy for sustainability education in India. So once again, I welcome you. And our panelists are also here. So I invite our distinguished panelists for the day to please come up on the stage. We have with her Dr. T. Ramasamy, who is going to be chairing today's panel discussion. He is a prominent Indian scientist and former secretary of the Department of Science and Technology, DST. Sir, you're requested to please come up on the stage. We have with us Dr. Nisha Mendiratta, who is the executive director of Indo-US Science and Technology Forum. Ma'am, please take your seat on the stage. We have with us Mr. Chandar Mohan, who has been former head of NCSTC, Seed Kiran, and Mission Societal Divisions of NCSTC, Government of DST Government of India. We have with us Dr. B.C. Sabath, who is an accomplished environmentalist and educator, and he's been involved in state-level strategy and policy development for environmental improvement. And we are awaiting one of our panelists, Dr. Nilima Jairath. As soon as she's here, she'll also be joining us. We also have with us Shri Dilip Surkar. He is the director of Vikram A. Sarabhai Community Science Center, Ahmedabad. It's a pioneering organization working in the field of STEM education at school level. And with this, I now hand over the mic to Shri Dilip Surkar. He is moderating today's session. So over to you, sir.
Thank you. So, while we are waiting for Dr. Nilima Jairath, I hope she joins us in time, otherwise we'll continue. So, thank you, Megha. And I once again welcome our chair and all the panelists to this panel discussion on integrating STEM education, National Education Policy 2020, and Science, Technology and Innovation Policy of Government of India. The STI policy is still in draft stage. And we are trying to connect these policies to achieve sustainability education. And we are trying to find out the elements which are relevant in the context of today's conference. So, with your permission, sir, with the permission of chair, what I would like to do is maybe quickly in 2-3 minutes, just give you a background of the today's discussion, and then I would like to hand over the stage to you, sir. So basically, I mentioned about 3 policies and trying to connect those 3 policies to bring about sustainability education in our Indian context. So just to give you a little background, what is STEM education? STEM education is basically a way of integrating science, technology, engineering and mathematics into a holistic approach to learning and problem solving, which is very essential to understand environmental issues. It aims to develop knowledge and knowledge in real world scenarios, and it prepares our children for future job market. Sustainable development, what we are discussing since morning, basically relies on STEM knowledge, research and problem solving skills. The NEP 2020, the National Education Policy, Dr. Kasturi Rangan chaired the committee, and I am fortunate to work with him, sir. He is also chair of our governing board of my center. So NEP 2020 has emphasized upon developing STEM competence through experiential and hands-on learning, inquiry-based, discussion-based, analysis-based learning, conceptual understanding rather than rote learning, creativity and critical thinking to encourage logical decision-making and innovation, life skills such as communication, collaboration, cooperation, resilience, and key concepts, ideas, application and problem solving. Basically, STEM education seeks to develop and provide innovative solutions to global issues, in particular those directly related to the SDGs 2030. So let us see what brings in sustainability into the National Education Policy 2020? Basically, there are several aspects which are in alignment with the Sustainable Development Goals. It is holistic and multidisciplinary education policy. It promotes technology integration, and it also emphasizes upon vocational education and lifelong learning. Now let's come to the Science, Technology and Innovation Policy. It's the fifth policy, and it is still in draft stage. Government of India has still not issued it formally. These are the highlights of the STI policy, Science, Technology, Innovation. I'll just call it STI. So it basically has these components: setting up a national STI observatory, setting up an open science framework, promoting STI education, financing science, technology and innovation. I am not going into the details of the policy. I will try to keep it short. Promoting research ecosystem at national level, promoting innovation and entrepreneurship, moving towards or going towards Atmanirbhar Bharat, promoting equity and inclusion, focusing on science communication, science popularization, encouraging international engagement, having an ecosystem for science, technology, innovation governance, and having a science, technology, innovation policy institute. These are the highlights of the STI policy. And these are some salient features which are relevant in the context of today's conference. It basically has prominent sustainable development pathway. It promotes traditional knowledge systems. It focuses or it has a lot of emphasis on indigenous technologies and grassroots innovation. It is inclusive. It has inclusive and decentralized approach, and it is dynamic and evidence informed, because we want tomorrow's citizens to take informed or to make informed choices. Basically, sustainability is the central idea in all these three aspects of today's discussion: the NEP 2020, the STI policy, and the STEM education that we are working on. So this is just to give you some background, sir. Now I would like to introduce our chair and then invite him to take us through the panel discussion. Chairman of today's panel discussion, Dr. T. Ramaswamy, is a prominent Indian scientist and former Secretary of Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. He has made significant contributions to the field of polymer science and engineering, focusing on sustainable materials and processes. With a rich academic background, Dr. Ramaswamy has held various prestigious positions, including Director of the Central Leather Research Institute, and has been actively involved in promoting science and technology in India. He was awarded India's top civilian honors, Padma Shri in 2001 and Padma Bhushan in 2014, for his notable and outstanding contribution to science in India. His leadership in several national and international committees has been instrumental in advancing India's research and development agenda. Dr. Ramaswamy continues to be an influential figure in science policy and innovation, advocating for sustainable development and the application of science for societal benefit. We are really fortunate to have Dr. Ramaswamy as chair of this panel discussion. Sir, I invite you to set the context for today's discussion.
Well, thank you, Dilip.
It's your choice, sir.
No, there. First of all, let me thank the organizers for this opportunity to be here today. And the way the section is, chair arrangement has been made, I'm seated between two of my colleagues in DST. And it made me feel that they found out this chairman requires support. And they realized this chairman is incapable of doing anything himself. So they brought the support on both sides, and they also had gender balance. And I'm very happy to see both of my colleagues. To me, DST was more a family than a department, so I see a daughter and a son here. Thank you very much. So I'm not going to introduce them, because I have said they're son and daughter, matter ends. And of course, Dilip is Dilip. And my friend here, I used to be very afraid of him when I was in DST, because he spoke for environment. And he spoke with vision, he spoke with intent. Therefore, I am having a very nice job that I don't have to do anything, they will do what they need to do. However, my friend has said setting the stage. But that freedom he should not have given. Because the stage setting has its own implication. Basically what he did in NAP 2020, then in SGIP, he very cleverly left out the year 2013, 2020 and so on. Okay? So, and then he talked about STEM education. And these guys call STEM as a catalyst. I would like to differ. In education process, since morning we have been discussing education, it's all about fundamentally the main manner of the education is important today is really reductionism. Math, this science, that science, physics, within physics, experimental physics, theoretical physics, and chemistry, bioinorganic chemistry, because there are biochemistry, inorganic complications. Sustainability is not about knowing one subject very well. It is about integrating the knowledge. So the basic question is, we want to talk about the stage setting. I'm going to talk about aims. Okay? You have to create an attitude to be sustainable when somebody is a child in the primary school. And then you have to build the ability to do that. And you have to give an approach to reach it. So there are 3 A's here. Okay? Attitude, first of all. And if you do not create an attitude, no amount of detailed education will provide you anything. That's the biggest problem. In fact, our attitude is ulta. Because in the kindergarten, we are talking about projects, and they're doing cutting and pasting. That is plagiarism. Then we talk about intent, which is a fairly important part of this I. And you have to have integrative learning. It is not this subject, that subject, and mastery in one singularity will not give you sustainability. It's out of the question. Sustainability is all integrations. And then you need to, I think sustainability is not about philosophy, talking of philosophy. Sustainability is not a philosophy. You have to implement them. If you do not implement, what's the use of talking at great length and doing nothing? Therefore, there's a question of implementation issue. Fundamentally, you require a mindset. And a mindset change in education is a serious process. It is not about learner, teacher, and parents. It is about society. And fundamentally, sustainability is not a professional process, it's a cultural process, socio-cultural process. So you have to build a society. You can't build professionals in the space. Therefore, you talk about mindsets. And you need to have a very high level of, let me say, motivation to be able to do this. Then we are talking about how do we manage all those resources and assets. So there's the 3 aims here. 3 A's, 3 I's, 3 M's. Then we need to ask a fundamental question. They have been talking about environmental education ad nauseum. Please understand, environment is only part of the sustainability. It is not the whole of sustainability. And the sustainability has to deliver on 3 bottom lines. Only one segment is environment. Okay? There's an economy of purpose. It is not economy of scale, economy of scope in education. The education process must be economy of purpose. Purpose of education itself should be based on this. Then there is a question of equity, because in this case, equitable responsibility. A poor man who does not have food to eat has to find the food first, And you cannot talk about the ideal goal of equity. And sort of said in the morning today, 1% of the population has 40% of the resources, and they should share more. Therefore, the equitable responsibility is equally distributed. That's what sustainability is all about. Therefore, I am going to now request my colleagues in this forum to look at sustainability education not as just environmental education. It is one of the components, and it is a very limited component, because without an equity balance in the society, nothing will be sustained. And the question here is, we talk about change. Sustaining changes is important. Man wants revolutionary change, but nature chooses evolutionary change, because the rate of change is very important. And the rate of change is really the issue, and I will leave it at that stage, and I request my colleagues to take it from here. And of course, if I end up about science research policy, I think you will say, no, this one man is not retired yet, so I won't do that. And we talk about NEP 2020. NEP 2020 is not the first science policy, education policy in the country. It is the fourth policy, and the first two policies are social integration. That's one of the policies. Without the social diversity of a country of this nature, if you don't have integration at the school level, you will not be a nation at all. Therefore, NEP first policy, it talks about cognitive learning. Basically, learning as a cognitive process is important. Fundamentally, I will close this talk with this comment: education is a preparation of mind. Education is not about learning this, learning that, environment, equity, and so on. It's a preparation of mind. When Vivekananda was in this country, he said purpose of education is to self-realization, realize the internal perfection. Fortunately, at that time, these sustainability problems were not faced. Times have changed. Now we realize the cost of not sustaining is essentially catastrophic consequences in humanity, not individual. Therefore, the purpose of education, purpose of preparation of mind, which is now we are talking about, is to save itself, truly. And not just environment, I'm talking about equity and the whole purpose of the whole process. Therefore, let us discuss this not only from the framework of policies. Policies are top-down. Sustainability is a bottom-up action. Therefore, how do we prepare the society? How do we bring a socio-cultural framework where this will happen, and that will, where the policy statement has a provision. And I believe NEP has a provision, and STIP has a provision, and for the purpose of my friend, STIP 2020 is trying to do 3 policy verticals integration. There are 3 policy verticals. If you look at science policy research, you would find there's something called social contract metaphor, that is 1950s. Then called triple helix, which is industry, government, and those kind of stuff. And to 21st century policy perspective of the world is responsible innovation. And what STIP 2020, without being articulating clearly, is to bring the integration of all the 3 verticals. I will leave it at that stage. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Basically, telling us about 3 A's, 3 I's, and 3 S's. Now, I would like to invite our next panelist, Dr. B.C. Sabat. He is an accomplished environmentalist and educator who has dedicated his career to the betterment of environment in the Delhi NCT. He has been actively involved in state-level strategy and policy development for environmental improvement. His initiatives include establishing a network of 2,000 eco-clubs, organizing various awareness campaigns, and conducting training programs for teachers and lecturers on science, technology, environment, and mathematics. His dedication to environmental education and sustainable development has garnered recognition, including awards such as UNESCO Young Scientist Visiting Award and the Bhagidari Award for the Best Officer. With multiple publications and a proven track record of advocating for environmental consciousness, Dr. Sabat's work has made a lasting impact on the community and help create a greener and more environmentally conscious Delhi. Welcome, sir. Dr. Sabat.
I have borrowed a lot of ideas from him and also
Thank you, sir. I think our chairman, Dr. Ramsamy, has very nicely put up all the sustainability and other things. But what I want to say from my experience when I was in Delhi government, we have started the Eco Club program in Delhi, and 2000 Eco Clubs we have started, and we integrate the environment education along with STEM education with the students and schools. All formal education is there. Every time, the courses are there, the syllabus is there, everything is there. But how to make the change, what our chairman sir has told, about attitude and willingness. We studied from the class, and when we go out, we throw the garbage. I think that is what happening every time. And whenever we do these activities, you see the today's Delhi's greening, and everything is done by the students. Some of our teachers also here from the schools and colleges, they have taken a lot of students. So the integrating STEM or education or environment education is part of the life. But unfortunately, we know everything, but when we come to the action, our action is very, very poor. That's why you see you see in the case of waste management, you see the case of air pollution, you see in the case of water conservation, whatever we do, I think it is not put for the practice. So if we compare to other countries, I have taken many students to Japan to see the waste management practices, and there they say we teach the kindergarten student, not to the education. When you are talking about the higher secondary students, college students, we are not teaching them. We are teaching the kindergarten student. And I had been to there in the one waste museum where they emphasize the life cycle of the waste. And the students are only LKG, UKG students. And they know what is the garbage and they do all the things. So I think the integrating the STEM or environment education is very, very useful. I think our government is doing a lot of activity. DST, Madam was our NCC STC, that time we had conducted a lot of programs in Delhi, and we have the Inspire program, we have the Manak program, we have the science exhibition, other things, many things we conducted. But the thing is how to make the students ever educate and implementation. Sir has very rightly said, implementation part we are sustainability. What is sustainability? It is completeness. And how to implement that completeness, be it any type of thing, science, technology, environment, everything, that is the main target. And I hope we'll learn much more things from our dear panelists, and whatever our things do, at least we should do something in practice. Wherever, because ourselves also not practicing. When we tell the student to put a light, the student says, we are not so poor, don't tell us to stop the light. But that education we are not making to children ever, that if you are saving 1 unit of the electricity, we generate another 1 electricity like that. I will give you finish within 1 minute. I have taken some students to Japan, so some of the scientists are invited to their houses. So our students are from Delhi schools, and when they go there, the AC was set up for only 2 hours, then it will completely stop. They say, sir, क्या देश में ले आया आपने? इतना गरीब लोग हैं ये, सारे AC बंद कर देते, पानी बंद कर देते, खाना नहीं देते. So our attitude, you see how we are thinking about these processes. So many times I tell the students, your thinking process has to be changed, and Ramasam Sahab very rightly said, we have to change our processes, we have to change our thinking process and attitudinal change to do some activities, either in STEM or environment education. I think we'll more discussion, others sir will say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sabat. Thank you for telling us that sustainability is basically implementing completeness. Now I would like to invite our next panelist, Dr. Nisha Mehndiratta. She is the Executive Director of Indo-US Science and Technology Forum. She is a passionate scientist with over 32 years of experience in science leadership and governance, research and administration. She served as an advisor, Scientist G at the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, while spearheading 2 important scientific divisions, viz. Women in Science and Engineering, viz. Kiran, and Climate Change Program. She spearheaded various initiatives as head NCSTC, translating science Wikipedia pages into Indian languages, AWSAR, a program that helped to enhance articulation skills in young researchers, the creation of a science channel for national audience at Doordarshan and OTT platform, communication radio program to create awareness among rural communities. There are several other accomplishments. She was named as one of the 20 most influential women in BW education for the year 2023 in the country. Welcome, ma'am, and I would like to hand over the stage to you.
A very good afternoon to all of you. Respected Dr. Ramasamy sir, Dr. Sarkar, Dr. Chandamohan, Sabaji, and all the lovely participants who are here. I could see many girls, so where I feel so much of connection, that's my weak area actually. So first of all, I would like to thank the organizers, Mobius Foundation, for organizing this particular session and also inviting me here. This is one of the area which is very close to all of us, especially we who have worked at DST. And I must say that as Ramasamy sir was saying, we say other way around, that we are sitting next to you to get the support always, which we have been getting. And that has really added on to our knowledge base, and also it has led to us understanding many scientific issues, which I was quite fortunate, I must say, that I got a chance to work with DST for so many years. And then later on, that experience led me not only to understand the requirement which the whole world is facing with regard to the specific innovations and technological know-how which is required at each and every sphere of life by people, by society. And as our government has also indicated to all of us that whatever attempts or investment is going to happen in R&D, it should lead to the societal benefit. That is one of the mantra on which all of us are working, whether it's a government setup or a private body or any non-government organization, no profit organization. But the whole basic, which I feel is R&D is very much required for the development of any country. That is one thing. And we can see that all developed nations who have reached to the heights in terms of economy, R&D is the main building block of those countries. And developing countries are also now in the same line. They have understood. That's why not only science and technology, but innovation has also come up as one of the building block. And as in today's session, we are trying to just integrate or look into various perspectives or the interconnection between NEP, STEM and STIP. I feel that these are leading to those building blocks only, because as very rightly mentioned by our chairman sir and Dr. Dilip also very nicely mentioned about the importance of STEM. I also just brought my points in the similar line with regard to critical thinking, problem solving, because when I was working at NCSTC, I got ample chance to interact with not only the stakeholders, with Mr. Sabat and Dr. Chandamohan. I visited many areas. I interacted with a lot of students at school level, at college level, and especially through that Indian Children's Science Congress and mobile exhibition, I could see the kind of inquisitiveness all the kids are having. They have a passion to learn. And I remember one case in which one of the students showed me one model. I don't know why I strike that example right now. And that was in a competition in Children's Science Congress. It was a robot, and that fellow was from some school, government school. And I asked him, what is it? He said, madam, it's a robot. And he will bring the medicine on time to the patient. I was very surprised. He was 9th or 10th class student. I said, what for? Who led you? Who made you design this kind of discovery or experiment? I was really surprised. He said, you look into the values, which touched me. He said, madam, my grandmother is not well and my parents are working. So they have to go out of the house. I am also not available at times. And sometimes it happens that she forgets to take medicine on time. So that's why I thought I should do something for my grandma. And whenever the timing, the medicine has to be given, I have devised it in a manner that the robot will take those medicines and it will be going to my grandma, and then the same medicine will be she will not have any problem at all health wise. So as sir was saying, that it's sustainability or STEM is not only one particular aspect, it's an integration of many things, holistic, socio-cultural, knowledge based. I say that it's an emotional part also. All of us need to look into the requirement, and I am very happy to see that it requires not only the right kind of agencies who are in place, who are working actively. NEP is being seen by Department of Education, STIP is being seen by Science and Technology, and all the organizations, government structure, it's a again top-down approach, and all are providing their values, their knowledge base, and the need is we need to integrate together, and then we need to see the right kind of a requirement. There are many things which I can share, but I think I will stop here, and I will be very happy. Here, actually, one more thing I would like to say, because from DST I have moved to Indo-US Forum. So there I am now handling bilateral issues. And there were 1 or 2 programs like IRIS, in which we took students to US. Every year there is a scientific fair. And there are many more programs. So there also I find the same kind of a thing. Let it be a student, youngster from India or from any other country. I think all of them have a need or the desire to know more and more, and I think we should provide them the kind of mentorship and the opportunities. That's what I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for telling us about R&D and innovation as the main building blocks. Now I have pleasure inviting our next panelist, Shri Chandramohan, who happens to be my super senior in the field of science communication and science popularization. Mr. Chandramohan, a distinguished chemical engineer with a specialization in renewable energy from Punjab University, has had a 3-decade-long career with Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, where he headed divisions including NCSTC, Kiran and SEED divisions. He also served as director of Vigyan Prasar. He is renowned for his innovative contributions, including the creation of the Science Express, a unique exhibition train that attracted over 18 million visitors across India. He also launched the bilingual magazine Science Tech Entrepreneur and played a key role in various initiatives promoting entrepreneurship, skill development, and renewable energy. Post-retirement, he served as UGC Chair Professor at Jawaharlal Nehru University and continues to engage in socio-economic development, science communication, and youth mentoring. Currently, he is chairman of the Borbag Foundation. Welcome, sir. The stage is yours.
Namaskar. When not just a senior colleague, a mentor, a guide, and a friend, philosopher guide also. Not just father figure, he also is a very, very dear friend. Dr. Ramasamy gave us the flight. We in DST were accustomed to the same Sarkari job which most of us, when we join the government, we tend to become the slaves of the desk. And he is the one who actually gave us the charge and the will, as well as the flight which was needed for us to do whatever Dilip has talked about. Thank you, sir. You have created a monster out of me. I now work with so many initiatives across the place from where I belong, and I will take you to that place. It is just a very quick recall. This place is near Bathinda, and most of you probably would have heard of Bathinda. Do you know that in the evening at the Bathinda railway station, it actually becomes like Shamshan Ghat. I don't think any of you has been there. वहाँ से एक ट्रेन चलती है, उसका नाम है कैंसर एक्सप्रेस. लोगों को उसका ओरिजिनल नाम ही नहीं पता अब. वहाँ सब कैंसर के पेशेंट्स उसमें जाते हैं बीकानेर, क्योंकि नियरेस्ट गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल, अब एम्स खुल गया है वहाँ पे, बट एम्स इज स्टिल इन द फॉर्मेटिव स्टेज. And those people take their, there is always an attendant or two attendants. No TT comes to that train. It is actually, it actually kills you. Just looking at the condition of the patients who go to Bikaner, and the root cause lies in their own making. It is of their own making. They have been using the pesticides, the fertilizers, the insecticides, the weedicides, and all these sides for the side effects that they have got. And almost every family has at least one cancer patient, and I've been very deeply involved in that area now after my retirement from the ministry. I work with the Unnat Bharat Abhiyan of the Ministry of Education, and 15 villages have been assigned to me by a group of institutions, which was started by my grandfather's brother. And I go there to give back to, I thought I am giving it back to the society, but actually I am learning much more from there than I learnt in all those 30 years in the DST. I am now trying to actually use whatever I had learnt in DST, which calls me a communication person now. I am trying to communicate to those people, trying to convince them that the hell that they have made for themselves, there is a way to come out of it. But for that, they have to start taking these steps towards sustainability. They won't understand the word sustainability. You have to teach them in the vernacular, in the dialect. And fortunately, because I'm born and brought up there, I studied in the government school there, I know the dialect. So I'm able to not only just identify the issues, but also identify with them, and they take me now part of their journey. And there we talk about how, why, where, when, and who will take them to the next stage where they will be able to actually lead a happy, healthy life, which they are not leading. It is supposed to be otherwise a very, very happening place. That is only the facade. Behind that facade is what we need to all be actually sitting up, waking up to the reality, which is actually made my land not just, it's now leading towards desertification. It is a land which kills, with land which is supposed to nurture you, which was supposed to be your mother. You have actually killed our own mother. Our own selves, we are ourselves responsible for that. हमारी खुद की बनाई हुई वो नर्क है, और अब हम उस नर्क से निकालने में शायद और भी ज़्यादा समय लगेगा जितना उनको बनाने में लगा उसमें. That is where I think all NEP and STEP and STEM and all will have will become meaningless. मुझे लगता है कि मैं अगर वहाँ पे ये जो मैं लर्न किया हूँ यहाँ पे अपने 30 साल के अनुभव जो मेरे हैं, जिसमें आई बीन एबल टू कम्युनिकेट टू द कॉमन मैन, टू द चाइल्ड ऑन द इवन इन झुग्गी झोपड़ी क्लस्टर, इफ आई एम एबल टू कम्युनिकेट टू देम कि ये आप आज इसको बंद नहीं करोगे तो इसका आने वाली पीढ़ी आपकी शायद होगी ही नहीं कोई. देयर विल बी नो फ्यूचर, not just future of the children, there will be no future at all. And nobody, no political party there, I have interacted with all of them, and one of them happens to be not just a friend of mine, he was my hostel mate, and he was the chief minister of that place. Not a single initiative was taken during his chief ministership to revive the place, which actually made him a member of the parliament, and then a member of the legislative assembly, and also a chief minister. तो क्या करेगी उसमें आपकी STEM, क्या करेगी आपकी उसमें STI पॉलिसी, और क्या करेगी आपकी उसमें ये इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ दीज थ्री. क्योंकि बच्चे को पता ही नहीं है कि वो जो पानी पी रहा है, जो हवा में सांस ले रहा है, इट इज़ एक्चुअली पॉइजन. Not just polluted, it is actually poison. We have got the tests done now on the soil. The soil is now actually completely poisoned. I don't know how. I'm looking for changes. There is an agriculture university there. There is an AIMS there. There is this college where I now go and work with. I'm trying to bring them all together on one platform so that we are able to reach out through the children with whom I work now very closely, 7,000 of them, and they are going back home and telling their parents कि अगर मुझे ज़िंदा देखना है आगे, मुझे कनाडा में नहीं भेजो, मुझे यहीं रखो, मुझे कनाडा जाने में शौक नहीं है, कनाडा में कभी भी जा सकता हूँ, वहाँ पे हर everybody wants to go to Canada, that is part of our culture there, but if they will all go to Canada, then who will look after the motherland? तो अब हमने उन बच्चों को सिखाना शुरू किया है कैसे उन्होंने जाके अपने पेरेंट्स को, अपने फैमिली को, अपनी कम्युनिटी को, अपनी फ्रेटर्निटी को, अपने फ्रेंड्स को बताना है कि हमने खुद ये जो बनाई है अपने लिए नर्क, अब इसको दोबारा स्वर्ग बनाने में हमारी वाली जनरेशन तो जाग गई. दैट जनरेशन विल प्रॉबली बी लीडिंग टू जस्ट डूइंग द क्लीनिंग अप. तो उस क्लीनिंग अप में लेट्स होप जो नई एजुकेशन पॉलिसी है उसमें से कुछ निकल के आए. नई STI पॉलिसी है, मे बी दैट ऑल्सो विल contribute to it. How it will contribute and how I will be able to take it forward, I have yet to decipher that. But I just came here, I just thought, since Dr. Ramasamy was coming here, I thought I will actually tell him an issue which is actually brought not just tears to my eyes. I go there and I cry because all my 30 years of working in the DST is of no help there. That is the solution, that is sustainability which I am looking for. पता नहीं मैं यहाँ से क्या लेके जाऊँगा, पर मैं दे के तो जा रहा हूँ कुछ आप लोगों को, एक सोच का एक विचार. Thank you.
Chandaran and I worked for quite some time. He speaks his emotions. So, you understand? We'll take questions. Okay? Because I think just to give a touch, my friend talked about a problem, and the problem result of an unsustainable activity. Okay? And he inadvertently agreed with my other friend at the other side, involved the children. He talked about Japanese children, he talked about Indian children, to eventually sensitize the process. I think we had to be careful when you get into this emotional side. We had to be careful that we do not forget the other side of the brain. Much of that agricultural activity is the result of another basic problem. The DST is located in the godown of PL480 grain because it was a situation. So the green revolution at that time in 60s was a compulsive change. And the compulsive change has brought the pesticide, insecticide and so on. Therefore, instead of looking at it from the perspective of a problem, I think today we should come back with a solution. There are enough problems in this country. The good thing about India is we have several problems to solve. But I think we have to, as a result of this panel, I would like to bring out a recommendation. Therefore, I would like, therefore, our discussion go towards what can be done in the circumstances, integrating not just a policy, but implementation actions and so on. I think let that be questions of that nature. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
थैंक यू प्रोफेसर रामस्वामी.
My pleasure.
आपके हाथ बहुत लंबे हैं साहब, सिर्फ 2 सीट तक ही नहीं, यहाँ तक भी हैं. यू हैव वेरी लॉन्ग हैंड्स. चंद्रमोहन जी, आपका ख्याल रखियो. माय क्वेश्चन टू डॉक्टर मेहंदी रत्ता. You made an observation that all research should lead to a societal problems. I somehow feel uncomfortable with this statement. A huge amount of research takes place for the knowledge creation. The kind of mathematics which is being used today in solving the numerical analysis problems was developed 200 years ago or 250 years ago. Nobody knew about it when Raman discovered Raman effect, he didn't know that it will be used in developing Raman scanners. So could you please just, specify your own statement?
Yes, very nice observation you have given. Rather, what you are telling while working at DST, I was also trying to see various perspectives, which, as far as my understanding goes, I feel that R&D is the basic step for any innovation. I think all of you will agree with that. Just few minutes back, I was just mentioning, Ramasamy sir, that earlier when we are talking about policies, it started sometime in the year 1958. You are also talking about old innovations. So let me also go back to that time. At that time, the government thought that, there should be scientific based progress should be there for the nation. So focus was only on science and R&D. Slowly and slowly, as the policy started taking shape, 5 policies have come so far, in which from science we have advanced to R&D, then innovation, and then the application of science for the society. That is the current status. So slowly and slowly we are moving toward that. And your point which you are telling, that innovations or science or research was happening, but what was the use and how it was meant for the benefit of people, that's what you were saying. All those old discoveries, whatever have been done. Yeah. Yeah.
No, you are diverting, surely.
I will answer
Even today the basic research is required.
I will answer.
You probably may not be knowing that what kind of applications it may have after 10 years or after 50 years or after 200 years.
But
I will answer.
yeah, sir is going to answer.
See, this is a very standard problem of science community. Okay?
No, bro,
No, let me come back to this. No, let me tell you this. When Raman discovered, forget about Raman, Faraday discovered electricity. Okay? There was a politician who went back and asked a question, what's the use of this? This is even before Nobel Prize and all discovered. Faraday said, okay, don't bother, one day you will learn how to tax it. Fundamentally, knowledge generation, and then knowledge is like a river in a spring where it originates. Kaveri water springs or Ganga, a small stream. It collects surface water, becomes finally a river. So when it comes to society, it has to integrate with the process. Raman, for example, discovered Raman spectrum. Today it's used for detecting terrorist process, terahertz spectroscopy and so on. But the same person need not do it. It has to integrate with this process. Fundamentally, what Nishad was trying is from the perspective of a science department, the science takes place, several layers of additions will take place, eventually it reaches society sometime. Not in the same time space.
Yes.
Okay?
So my observation was with the word all, not with anything else.
I understand. I moment you got, sir, I know where you are driving. Well,
I'm not driving, I'm here only.
No.
I'm here only. I'm 24 only, sir.
No. Driving, not necessarily the system. The point that you're trying to make, that the point was trying to drive is what I understood. I don't think there was a sacrosanct definition of the small word. Okay? I hope I'll answer that to you. There's not sacrosanct aspect of this, and therefore, I don't think basic research can ever be forgotten. It is necessary. Knowledge for its own beauty is necessary. Okay?
Thank you.
Knowledge for its own beauty is necessary, and it is a part of a cultural activity, not a political activity. But technology has a political consequence. Science itself, and I would, now that you mention it, she talked about science policy resolution. I will differ with her. Scientific policy resolution is not about science. It is scientific policy resolution. It talked about scientific temper in the society. It talked about citizens' duty in the only constitution of India, only constitution of the world which has a scientific policy, scientific temper as a citizen duty is India. That's a part of the process. I think that is necessary. And that came from Buddha, not from Pandit Nehru. Anybody else?
I don't know, please check it.
It's working. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Dr. Akhil Kumar Swar. I work in Pollution Control Board as a chief engineer. Now I am retired, and I formed a company also working in the field of environment.
Very nice, sir.
Initially, in my initial period, I was working as a lecturer in engineering college. Okay. So, one point I will tell about content of curriculum, education curriculum. What I studied in civil engineering or whatever is. As of now also, same things, almost same things are there. Okay, one thing. So many development has taken place and so many subjects have come out. And even the students, I feel that now the students are feeling boring with that old things also. New things are not coming up in spite of lot of discussions. But many private universities, they have come up with the latest subjects which is required for the time, because we have to look for the jobs and everything also and latest developments. That is one thing. Another thing is inefficiency of education system. That means last week I got interviewed some candidates for my company. So they have passed MTech environmental in environment. Okay, so but they are not able to speak about the subjects. Neither they have practical experience, nothing. So what he was telling the candidate that why you are not. That means they are not regularly. They are not requiring regularly to attend the classes also. That provision is there also. Second thing, the teachers, they are not that much of efficient in many universities and colleges. Third is that intensive whatever project they are given, they are allotted to some industry or some institution somewhere. They go for 2-3 days, 4 days, whereas they have to take 1 month, 2 months at least intensive. Say they are not getting any experience. That what I mean to say, that education institutes are also not mentoring properly. They are also responsible for just to give the degree. Third is that if people are going for IT only, and all civil, mechanical, electrical, everybody is going to IT. Why not to change BTech course, only a common course, not computer science, nothing, no designation, only BTech, no subject. If somebody want to do something computer or chemical, mechanical, they can go up next level, MTech. So this is my suggestion only.
Okay, I think because we are discussing education, this suggestion is out of syllabus for this particular panel. Let me be very outspoken. The suggestion that you have made in the educational context is out of syllabus for this particular panel. And therefore, the point that you are making is very true. I am not questioning this.
But sir, for last few years, we are talking about, even we went to somewhere also to talk about NEP. But nothing visible is coming out.
No, let me tell you. You see, India is a one country. Tagore was a great man. He said different centuries coexist in India. Therefore, there are some fantastic things happen in this country. There are some stupid things happen in this country. So it depends on which part of the country you are wanting to see. I can say you many, many good things also. Therefore, my suggestion to you, as far as this particular panel is concerned, we stay on course within the content. I would like to make a proposal to this panel, to this house. We talked about policies. Policies are instruments. They are instruments of change and not cause of change. They are only instruments which give you some general framework. The change has to happen societally at the ground level. And there's a lot of action between top-down planning and ground-level actions. Therefore, what I would suggest to you as far as discussion is concerned, make some commission system and study the elements of NAP 2020 and science policies of not just this country. Okay? Look at nice educational policies and science policies in the world platform which are connected to sustainability education. I would like to use the word sustainable education. That's our syllabus. And we can't have I come for an examination in history, my suggestion is asking questions in geography. Therefore, we have to have the sustainability education. Please understand, it is not universities, college talk. Sustainability education is a cultural process. It has to happen even the people who don't go to school. Because climate change is not every individual's process. It's a climate change process. And therefore, we will try to create a framework to study these policies that we have, instruments we have. And those instruments, I'm sure these words are mentioned about sustainability in different places, sprinkled in the concept. Then to convert that into an implementation, okay, I think we need to talk about bring an activity-based learning at the sustainability education at school level, when they are still not looking for placements and salary packages and so on, okay. And please understand, sustainability is a character development. It is not a competency development. And character building takes place not in the private, not in the engineering colleges, not in the tertiary education. It happens in the primary education. And at best, middle education, not even secondary education. Therefore, this question that we want to talk about, how do we create material for activity-based learning for sustainable education at the school? We talked about kindergarten in Japan. Therefore, it's not that such things do happen. Yesterday I was in a school in Chennai, and it is not in Chennai, it's in a village. Those children talk about sustainability daily in practice. Therefore, we have to pitch those systems as a focus of this discussion. Because, you see, my friend is so upset at Cancer Express, and you almost try to make me feel I also got cancer. And because of the intensity. Because of the intensity. We have to be careful. The purpose of this meeting is not lost in this emotional outbursts. We have to bring it to this process. Can we discuss, therefore, what kind of activity-based tools and learning? Yes, sir. Yes.
I have a small suggestion.
Sure.
May not be, it may be out of syllabus that you have.
No, don't worry. My syllabus will be expanded.
So when we are talking about artificial intelligence and everything at the elite level, it is only on the elite level. Artificial intelligence is not drop out to the grassroots. Though I am a very, very city-oriented person, I think my voice is enough. So I'm a stage person, so my voice have a very good projection. So though I am a very city person, and right now we are working with villagers, and when I saw these village students, they really don't know about the intelligence. What is I? I is for themselves. So can we integrate those kind of policies where the village students can come for some learning, practical learning at the urban level schools.
Okay.
The urban students can go and learn what they are doing.
Sure.
So, for the sustainability success.
No, I understood that. This is very well within syllabus. Okay. And let me tell you, without a microphone, your voice is heard.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Megha. Sir, I don't know whether this is a question or a thought. I mean, while we were speaking about mindset, one of the few recent experiences was that, I mean, obviously government, after such a, huge hot think tank exercise and everything, we make the national education policy, which is based on the current trends and times and contextual to the times. So after that, government is also doing a lot of work to implement the recommendations in the school ecosystem. And at the same time, there is CSR who are working separately, and then there are civil society organizations, NGOs. They also go to schools to, support in the implementation of the policy recommendations. And obviously, I mean, sustainability education and climate change, and these are things that children should know about. And I mean, I understand the value of it. The thing is about mindset. So if we go to schools, I mean, I just had a talk with a teacher a few days back, and we had to go to one of the schools. And the teacher said, I mean, we don't mind if you come, but there are so many things to do now. Now I'll start learning, I mean, again STEM. So the thing is, they don't, I mean, how will we change the mindset of the teachers who are actually going to help us in implementation, that they don't see all of this as being imposed from above, as the, regimentation, but they understand the value that this needs to be done. So how to,
We'll take all questions and then look at the answer. because it's better. Because that's a suggestion, this is a question. So we'll different between suggestion and a question. Yes. We'll come back to that. Yes, I?
So yes, sir. Namaste. I'm Sanchita and I'm from Shri Educare Limited. So I just wanted to ask, as ma'am said, how to actually make it so much real that it can be done by the teachers, right? So we want the methods. So I am taking care of the early years. So if we talk about the early years, like pre-primary and even grade 1. So how to, implement, we talk about sustainability in education, we talk about green education, but how to bring in that change? What are the methods that are to be used in bringing in, how the teachers are going to transact it, in the students? So that we really want to know. And
okay.
I think you can enlighten us.
One problem is we seem to think education all should happen in the school and college and the establishments. Education is a life process.
Yes, I agree completely.
There is a role for parent in education. Okay?
So yes.
Now that we're discussing, you go back and look at Gita, Bhagavad Gita, there are 4 parts in education. It's not mine. So don't think I am as intelligent as I sound. 25 part of education comes from the family. 25 part of education comes from the peers. Only 25% of the education comes from teachers and mentors who can become tormentors also. And another 25% comes from life. Okay? To truly sustainable education is divided into these 4 parts. Do not put all that 100% into one segment. That is not practical in the first place. We must remember our education system, for whatever reason, taken the Western route. But our original education is not based on that model. I think going back, you will realize this is a Gita statement, not mine. 25% education comes from different places. Therefore, the question is not just telling teachers. There's a role for mother. There's a role for a family. Okay? Just to give an anecdote, I'm not going to speak, but because you touched a nervous, touchy point. I went to 21 schools in life. Okay, so I had lots of educational experience. I had a teacher in class 5 in Madurai. We had 27 people in the class. All of us were asked to go out in the garden, bring out a leaf each, and no 2 children should bring the same leaf. And each one of us had to write a 1-page story about what we saw in that leaf. And that teacher came back and said, though somebody had brought a palm leaf. Palm is a thick leaf, it doesn't evaporate water too much. So a palm tree you can find in a place where the water deficiency. Somebody brought a neem leaf. It evaporates water, thin leaf. And she taught the entire ecosystem with the 27 leaves. Okay? This is 1957. All right? And there was fortunately no educational policy to spoil. Please, I'm a bureaucrat. I did not write as a scientist, I wrote as a civil servant. Therefore, I make this comment with a sense of hurt. Therefore, instead of saying everything that is going around it is wrong, we have to go back and say, if there is a right method, and that right method cannot be implemented by regulation in India, it's not China. Therefore, there will be some interested teacher who may be willing to do that. We have to make this available and get the enrollment of the teaching community, parental roles, all that here to be brought out. And I think point is well taken about the importance of ground level actions. And the ground level actions will happen in this country when the basic needs of everybody are met. 40% of the people's basic needs are not met. And you go back and ask them, protect, save the environment, save the earth. Arey Baba, let the other fellows change earth, let me fill my stomach. And that is a social attitude. Attitudinal changes cannot be brought by this, and that can be done at the school level in some form. Are there any other questions of this kind? That will, yes. And this is the last question, and I'll summarize it. Okay?
Sir, I have two of the observations over these many years. Little bit of introduction. My name is Bushra Barkati, and I am a senior research fellow along with teaching associate to the master level students at the Department of Social Work, where we work in collaboration to the grassroots level communities. So my question refers to Mohan sir. Sir, over these many years, like when I was in my first or second standard, we used to hear a lot more about the integration, and over these many years when I read, even Swaminathan sir said, we have to switch from green revolution to evergreen revolution, where living the life with environment has to be incomprehensive. We don't have to be there by some knowledge, attitude or practice. It has to be within our subsumed in our own lives. So over these many years, we have been talking a lot on this, but we are not able to reach even in tangible or in untangible ways where we can locate how communities are being made changes. We have adopted 5 villages, we are doing this, government is doing a lot, but where is the impact? Why the grassroots communities, they are still on the verge of vulnerable side, even if the government has initiated and taken a lot of, like when I went to recently Bhopal, and I have been traveling all over these states for collecting my research output. So what I have observed, even government is taking initiative with the children to educate them, empower them, but there is gap. There is knowledge, there is awareness, but when it comes to practice, even the educators who are delivering, they are lacking in practice. How we can comprehend that? And even after this, like massive from evergreen to green, then re-switching to evergreen revolution of MS Swaminathan sir.
You see, I will answer this because
Sure, sir, it's okay.
Because I told you he's like a son, so father can overrule him. Because I don't want another emotion to emotion. The emotion should be felt with reason. Okay? All this green revolution, evergreen, Swaminathan is a great friend of mine. Okay? These are slogans. And the slogans are necessary for creating certain movement in society to bring this process. But slogans are only slogans. Please understand, when green revolution took place, what we don't realize in the context, we come back and say this happened, that happened. India required 59 million tons of food grains, producing 13 million tons of food grains, and we had difficulty. Therefore, we went into this intensive production system. Any intensive production system is not sustainable. Okay?
That's why we switched.
It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
It turns out, agriculture at some point of time in Punjab, they are the ones who feed us. Punjab farmers fed us. They were driven by economic conditions and growth profiles and so on. Swaminathan himself, who was the principal architect of this process, came back and said, "Arey Baba, this will have a soil health problem, and we have to alter those." Okay? These are knowledge activities. Evergreen revolution is a knowledge activity of a slogan. To make it happen, even Swaminathan's own foundation carries out some small experiments in different places and using the community, tribal community. They still do that. But this can't be done by the government. Please understand, India is a republic. It is not a totalitarian process. People have to act for them the process. But fortunately, in this level, we still have some level of a conscious within our system. We had, with the Department of Science and Technology, had a national mission of keeping national mission on traditional knowledge in sustaining Himalayan ecosystem. Okay? And the basic idea of that system is not to go and take our technology and give it to the tribal. That will destroy. They have been in there for many years.
And they have a very rich knowledge.
Rich knowledge.
Yes, sir.
Therefore, this national mission is only document that knowledge, capture them, and perhaps adapt it to the circumstances. We are not giving them something, we are learning from them something. That is the mission process. It is a national mission program. In fact, she was handling it also. Therefore, government is not insensitive. But there are limitations to what government can do in a large national context like ours. This is an issue. Fundamentally, such a major problem of the kind that you're discussing today, there is no easy solution. Let's be blunt about it. It's not an easy solution. But we are discussing in this sustainability education some instruments of actions that can mobilize, cultivate. And we will flag those issues, and I make a recommendation today, in a closer system. We have policy instruments available. It is not just only NEP and STIP, because science has a role to play, but science cannot solve all the problems. Okay? There may be, the science can solve the problem if it included the science of the tribal communities. And that we don't look at them as tribal communities anymore. Therefore, we can capture some of those traditional practices. After all, original agriculture, when we had limited production, was sustainable. Okay? Let me now tell you in blunt, because both sides are visited by my DSC chaps. The science policies that are adopted in the world, I am talking about the developed world, resource intense science policies are not sustainable. Forget about science sustaining ecology.
And so even
sorry, we cannot take any more questions.
Take the process.
Because the next session's panelists are
already here. We have to take this process. My request is we will talk about it outside. Okay? Just one point we will do. Let us have, I think my friend Sarkar is available. So we will volunteer him to study these two policy statements. Sure. And kind of integrate with the other national spaces and bring out a document of the result of this panel discussion, which will have leads into the sustainability education, suggesting in it activity-based learning rather than theoretical experimental process, and that can be demonstrated in some finite number of locations. That will be the conclusion for this program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It has been so thought-provoking, the whole discussion. Just a minute, sir. Just a minute. I just invite Megha to propose vote of thanks. Just one more minute.
I will only thank.
And give away the memento.
I would request all the participants here to please give a big round of applause for our panelists today for such a wonderful and enlightening session. In fact, in a very long time, I was totally alert all the time throughout the session. So thank you so much. And on behalf of Vikram Sarabhai Community Science Center and Mobius Foundation, who has given us this opportunity to jointly conduct this panel discussion at this conference, I would like to thank all the panelists who are here. Dr. Ramasamy sir, I'm amazed and I'm so happy to have this kind of intellectual learning from you today. I'm thankful to all the participants or the audience who have been here and they have participated so well through the questions. Thank you so much. And we would like to felicitate and express our gratitude to the panel members present here with mementos. So I'll first request Sri Dilip Surkar to felicitate the chairperson of the panel, Dr. T. Ramasamy. Next, I request Shri Dilip Surkar to felicitate Dr. B.C. Sabat. Shri Dilip Surkar will felicitate Dr. Nisha Mendiratta. Shri Dilip Surkar will felicitate Dr. Sri Chandar Mohan. And last but not the least, I'll request Dr. Ramasamy to please felicitate our moderator for today's discussion, Shri Dilip Surkar.
Moderate now, I also respond.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.